went to the same school as Terry Wogan. The idea that a kid from Limerick could go and make it at the Beeb was so inspiring. An absolute hero. And Michael Ball, OBE. Terry was a touchstone from the very start of my career. So supportive, kind and funny. I can't quite believe he's gone. Cancer, I hate you. And that's from Michael Ball. We're just losing such incredible talent at the moment, aren't we? What a brutal month January 2016 has been. Absolutely brutal. We're kind of glad it's over and hoping that this does not keep going through the rest of this year. The President of the Irish Republic also has told of Wogan's breadth of knowledge and unique sense of humour. I've heard the sadness of the death of Terry Wogan, one of the great figures of broadcasting. He was a distinguished contribution to television, in particular to the medium of radio. People in Ireland will remember his early career in Irish broadcasting. You're listening to LBC. It's news time now at 12:30. And here with the latest headlines. Glenn Moore.
The broadcaster Sir Terry Wogan has died at the age of 77. His family says his death comes after a short but brave battle with cancer. He had a career in British TV and radio stretching back nearly 5 decades. Among the things he'll be remembered for are his 80s TV chat show and his commentary on the Eurovision Song Contest. David Cameron has appointed a Labour MP to review racial inequality in the criminal justice system. David Lammy will look into why black criminals often face longer sentences for the same crimes as their white counterparts. Met Police are investigating after 2 men were found stabbed this morning by Shepherd's Bush Green. Their injuries aren't thought to be life-threatening. No arrests have been made. And the success of minority actors has garnered the most attention at the Screen Actors Guild Awards in Los Angeles. Britain's Idris Elba collected 2 awards for Best TV Actor in a mini-series for Luther and Best Supporting Film Actor in Beasts of No Nation. LBC weather: cloud increasing this afternoon across London and the southeast with some rain moving in, highs of 12 degrees. Similar picture elsewhere across the UK with wintry showers across the north, followed by rain and wind, and that will spread northeastwards, followed by snow on high ground. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Glenn Moore.
This is LBC, London.
In April, the government's new national living wage becomes law.
Workers aged 25 and over will be legally entitled to £7.20 per hour.
That's 50p more in your pocket for every hour you work.
It's a step up in pay, a step up for hard workers. It's a step up for families.
And employers will be stepping up too.
The government's new national living wage. A step up for the UK.
To find out more about the new national living wage, visit livingwage.gov.uk.
How to flirt in French.
J'aime votre voiture.
I like your car.
Vos roues en alliage sont particulièrement brillants.
Your alloy wheels are particularly shiny.
Me ramènerez-vous chez moi demain matin?
Will you drive me home in the morning?
Now all you need is the car. Renault Clio Play. With air conditioning and 16-inch alloy wheels. £159 per month, low deposit. Representative example. 159 deposit. 48 monthly payments. Cash price 12,675. Total credit 10,470. Fees 248. Optional final payment 4360. Total payable 14,445. 5.9% representative APR. Interest 5.08 fixed. Renault Finance. Over 18s. Subject to status. Offer ends March 31st. T's and C's apply. Participating dealers. See renault.co.uk/offers.
Cheese, chocolate, skiing. The Swiss are great at many things, but when it comes to making fine watches, they're in a class of their own. Rolex, Patek Philippe, Omega, and more. They can be worth thousands, especially if you sell your quality Swiss watch to watches.co.uk. And we don't just pay well, we pay immediately. It couldn't be easier. And if you just fancy a change, we could take yours in part exchange. Watches.co.uk, the pre-owned Swiss watch specialist.
When you need more space,
think creatively. What could you use a log cabin for? A studio? A home office? A den for the kids? Creative Living will design and build a log cabin to suit your needs, even taking care of electricity and climate control. See for yourself at our 3 large cabin display villages in Surrey. Find out where at creativelivingcabins.co.uk.
log cabin, handcrafted, the creative living way.
Every lane, every street, every road, every avenue, every grove, every hill. No other London estate agent knows its area like Peterman's. Whatever the property, whatever the price, whatever it takes. Peterman's Estate Agents, serving Herne Hill, Edgware and the surrounding areas. Book your free valuation now. Petermans.co.uk. Peterman's, local property experts.
If you're freezing in line for the bus, you can turn up your heating, no fuss. 'Cause with Hive you control your home from your phone. Perhaps you ran out the house in a hurry. Turn off your iron with our app, no worries. Or if you're coming back late at night, turn on a light so it's all nice and bright. 'Cause with Hive you control your home from your phone. From your heating to your hot water to your plugs, control your home with Hive. Devices work with Hive Hub and app. Broadband required. Thermostat installed by a British Gas engineer. Discover our new products at hivehome.com.
Petri Hoskin, weekends midday till 3 on LBC.
And a very good afternoon to you. You are listening to Petri on LBC. And we're taking a pause. We're taking a moment to remember Sir Terry Wogan. And we should. Because he was a significant figure in broadcasting. Over 50 years of his work kept you entertained. And even if you weren't a fan, you have to kind of look at the man and go, yeah, he did good. He was fun. In my view, I particularly enjoyed his sarcasm and his Mickey taking, because he did it so beautifully and subtly, and sometimes not at all subtly, and would be very rude and acerbic. But somehow, because it was him saying it, it didn't matter. So we're taking a moment just to look at his life and talk to some of the people who met him. And I'm just wondering if you have. We spoke to Megan a little bit earlier, who did the famous Terry Wogan knee squeeze. That was a big thing on his chat show, and she just reminded me of that. I'd completely forgotten about that. But did you ever meet him? Did you ever bump into him? Did he stop and have a chat with you? Did it make your day? Because Terry said meeting Megan made his. So I'd like to hear from you. This is your chance, really, just to share a bit of warmth about an old friend who died this morning, aged 77. Well, joining me now is Chris Akabusi, British athlete who won, count them, 12 medals in international competition, and he joins me now. Chris, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Petri.
12 medals. That's a bit rude, isn't it? That's quite a lot, mate. Right, so listen, you worked with Ted, but you worked with it. You were on his show as well. Was it his radio show or his television show?
Yes, I was on Wogan, a TV show. Went on that a couple of times. First time I was with Roger Black, who again has won a lot of medals as a sprinter. And when Roger burst onto the scene in 1986, a lot was made of it. Went on the Wogan show, and you just mentioned the famous old knee squeeze. Yeah. And I remember when Roger did that, and Roger squeezed his knee, and everyone was making a big old deal about it. It was great to be on his show. It was phenomenal, unbelievable, because first of all, foremost, he was iconic, and I'm talking about Sir Terry now. Yeah. Was at that stage, and I'd grown up listening to him on the radio, seeing him on TV. It was amazing. All of a sudden, you knew you'd made it, but all of a sudden, you was on Wogan. It was a massive show in the day.
What was his skill, do you think, in those conversations? Because he genuinely did get people like you to talk.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Sir Terry always walked the green room. That's really important. Yeah. So he came to the green room beforehand and made everyone feel comfortable, nice and relaxed. Although he was meeting an icon, very down to earth. So you'd already met him, as it were, prior to going on the show. And then when you went on the show, the first thing he would do would be self-deprecating about himself, just to make himself touchable, agreeable and amenable, self-deprecating. He didn't take himself too seriously. He was very much focused on his guest, well briefed about what the guests were doing. And I think also another great trick, well, I don't want to say a trick, but a great thing he had was that he was able to join you, the guests, himself, and the the audience in the room. So that those that were in the room were also put on part of it. So he'd throw away a little odd glance or a little one-liner, and so a lot of the laughter you heard coming from the floor was real laughter, as the audience was part and parcel of this whole atmosphere created by the great man himself. And of course, I think that came through the TV screen. So the ratings would go up, people would join in and watch Wogan. I mean, he was a true... I mean, he knew his art, he knew his craft, and he just knew how to pull everyone together and make us all feel one and so comfortable that we can laugh and joke and maybe reveal more about yourself than you might otherwise do being on the TV.
And you worked with him too on Children in Need, and we just heard from his boss there at Radio 2 saying that was his real passion.
Yeah, and I think again you realise that when you met him, whether you did, like I did a couple of clips sort of away out in the field, and then you'd come onto then they would play on during the show, and every now and again they'd have you up on the show as well. And I think that was it really. You realised that this wasn't just a celebrity doing a gig. This was somebody who was intimately involved in raising much needed funds to support children in the hour of need, whether that was hospice, whether that was a final flight somewhere, or just good works, making sure that the growth and development of young people was at the forefront, at home and abroad. You can see it was his passion. He really believed in it.
And he was also a magnet, wasn't he? The fact that he was actually hosting this charity event meant that people like yourself were very happy to go and join him and then add to what Children in Need were trying to do.
Yeah, I think you've got something like Sir Terry Wogan heading up the programme. It's got credibility, and you assume transparency and traceability. That you assume that his integrity lent its weight to the results was being done. So of course you're very, and obviously because again, there's no such thing as altruism, I guess, because he was such an iconic classic person. It was a pleasure to be on his show. So he saw the entertainment element as well as the real material benefit that's happened for young people.
Just one little memory from you, Chris, if we can. I know it's all very fresh, but what is the one thing when you think of Terry you think of?
I think of that right little smile, a little twinkle in his eye, and the self-deprecating nature of a great man who met lots of people but made you feel special.
Chris, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this afternoon. Chris Akabusi there, British athlete who won 12 medals in international competition. And let's turn to your calls now here on LBC, and Andy is in Maidenhead. Hello, Andy.
Hi, Petrie.
Hi. Lots of people feeling that they were friends of his, those even that hadn't met him.
Well, I did have the pleasure of meeting him once, although briefly, but you just now said, what's the one memory Chris has got of Terry? I'm afraid I think you probably did Terry a disservice there, because I'm sure thousands and millions of people have got more than one memory of Terry. To me, he was absolutely magic, and his memory will live on. As I said to your researcher a few months ago, he will go down like many great people of this country. Off the top of my head, he'll go down like Winston Churchill. He'll remain in our mind forever and a day. He may not be seen, but he still will be in my mind. I can still see Terry Wogan, and he was magic. And my memory of Terry really is going to work and listening to his Radio 2 show on the radio, and I was in tears of laughter when he was doing his Janet and John. Please try and get some of those tapes and put them on the radio, because they were absolutely, how he did that with his co-presenters was absolutely
with a straight face, because it was all innuendo, wasn't it?
Oh, it was all in the mind. You made it what you wanted, and he knew that. And what a trick that was. And at the time I met him, he came to a park outside our office in his local village, Burnham, and he popped in to get some money. And it was a day of the Children in Need, and my partner and I said, let's go and shove some money in his hand, and we might get a mention on the Children in Need tonight. So we rushed out of our office, put some notes in his hand, and then we went back home that night to see if we got a mention. He didn't mention us by name, but he did turn around and say, this strange bloke came out of this office and shoved some money in my hand.
Oh.
So we did get a mention, and thanks for that, Terry, and thanks for the memories. And I've just come from church where I heard the news as I drove, and I brought him in. I wanted to bring him into the prayers this morning, and our church in Wexham, we prayed for his memory and his family.
Good for you. It's lovely to talk to you, Andy, and it's this is it. This is what the man did. He made everybody feel incredibly special. Leon has said, my daily favourite Wogan moments were during his 5-minute handover banter with Ken Bruce, and Ken, I think, replaced Jimmy Young. And this says, I used to cry with laughter listening to Terry Wogan doing Janet and John on Radio 2 on Tuesday mornings. I wouldn't have tuned in otherwise. A brilliant comedic innuendo, and that's from Jane in Uxbridge. And Wendy just said it seems cancer is